So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in color, it's Mr. Wayne Lovejuice.
The other day our producer Louis had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithms really aren't that happy if a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the track extra. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Dans. I'm the director of the Centre for Fortean Zoology, and welcome to another episode of On the Track Extra. As I'm sure regular viewers will be aware, every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock and every Wednesday evening at 6:30, we produce a general mishmash of hard science, weird shit, and surreality. Surreality. What's surreality, Louis?
Weird shit?
No, that's a different category altogether.
Oh, then, I know this one. The education system didn't fail me that hard. It's when we do stuff that isn't real but is kind of real. I'm right. Am I right?
Well, yeah, that's reasonably good, yes. I think the nearest thing would be what I believe you guys in the gaming community call enhanced reality.
No, it's augmented reality.
Also,
I would have known this and actually been paying attention if I wasn't browsing Tinder and watching weird girls dancing around with cowboy hats on. Oh, I love the modern world.
I hate the modern world. What about you, Lilith?
Hello, I'm Lilith Tinkerbell and I'm a very good girl. And I think that Uncle Louis is being stupid.
Well, after we've finished arguing about whether the modern world is a cesspit of horror or a wonderful place to be, Lilith and I are going to get back on with what the show is meant to be all about. And I want to show you this. The other day, Steve Baxter, who's an old friend of the show, sent me this. It's a magazine that he edits called Bigfoot Quest. And I think it's really, really good. And, by the way, it has also prompted me to go back and finish editing Animals and Men issue 71, which will also hopefully be coming out in hard copy as well as electronically. But that, my dears, is another story. Let's have a look and see what's in this episode. It's got a very, very impressive looking contents page. It's got, starts off with a Squaw Valley expedition, an expedition report by a guy called Nate Rudd, and it is the account of an expedition in 2017. There are not enough expedition reports in cryptozoological magazines, and I'm very pleased to see that there's one here. And, in the way that I like it, it has loads and loads of pictures. I like pictures. I don't know who it was who said that if a picture paints 1,000 words, then blah, 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 blah. He probably needed a punch in the face. But it's good to see expedition reports illustrated with pictures so the people back in their armchairs, like me over here in North Devon, can learn more and get a flavour of what the people on the expedition experienced. Now we have got an article by a guy called Mike Patterson. And he's talking about Sasquatch as a global phenomenon, which is something that has been interesting me more and more in recent years, especially when there have turned out Sasquatch-like experiences turning up in places where there really truly cannot be physical creature. Here it's talking about how Dmitry Bayanov, who was an old friend, he was an old friend of the CFZ, I knew him for many years, and how he was a supporter of the author's work, which is very, very, very good indeed, because Bayanov was, as I know to my cost, a very hard man to please. Now let's go on to the next article and see what else we've got. We're still here talking about the contact and the collaboration, the contact and the relationship that was building between the author and a Bigfoot entity called Nefatia. I don't know how much of the stuff that I read in the non-flesh and blood Bigfoot reports I agree with, but it certainly helps when they are given as much coverage and in-depth research as this author has done. And here we have a Bigfoot footprint, a juvenile Bigfoot footprint. This really, really is an excellent magazine. Now we have a guy called David Parker who is talking about a cry for hope, a cry for help. A friend of his that he had met playing games on Facebook was diagnosed with a terminal type of leukemia and had less than 6 months to live. I felt bad for her as she was only 26, so I used my skill in the game to get her into an alliance of her own and a good-sized territory. She'd been dealt a lot of hardship in her life. She had to deal with the loss of her child to SIDS, in sudden infant death syndrome, and then this on top of everything else. He goes on to talk about how he had heard of Bigfoot healing a woman who had cancer. I'm not going to tell you what happens in the rest of this article, but it is a very sweet and personal account. Then we have Steve Baxter, my mate, the show's friend, the guy who's done the front cover of the new issue of Animals and Men, talking in a lot of depth about Ape Canyon. With some great pictures. There are some lovely pictures that he has produced here of the Ape Canyon incident. Now we have something from a lady called Megan Renee Lynn, who is looking, as I can see here, looking more at the New Age end of the New Age aspect of Bigfoot reportage, but it's very interesting. This is stuff that it's very difficult to précis on a show like this, but I very much hope that, if nothing else, this will interest you in contacting Steve and seeing how you can buy the magazine. Now, there is an article then by our own friend, the CFZ's very own Ken Gerard, writing about his quest for the Yosemite in Belize. And was it Belize? I don't think it was. I think it was Costa Rica. I remember because... Nope, it was Belize. I don't know where the hell I got Costa Rica for. I've always been a big supporter of Ken. He's an old mate. He has done some remarkable research, and I've always done everything I can to help him, and will continue to do so, and I'm looking forward to having him back on the show very soon. Then we have Ray Harwood on telepathic Bigfoot, which is interesting. Again, telepathy is one of those things which I don't know how to take because of my own mental health issues. I can and do hear voices at times, whether it's telepathy or whether it's a screwed up cerebral cortex chemical balance, I wouldn't like to say. So, although it's a very interesting article, I'm going to leave it at that. Then we have a gallery of paintings, absolutely lovely paintings by Timothy Wayne Williams, who's somebody else I greatly admire, and I'm going to see if we can have him on the show soon as well. And then there's a way of grading. This is a very good piece of field work, a grading system for Bigfoot prints, which I really suspect that one could use for any mystery animal prints, or any animal prints really. And then we have Ray Harwood talking about the summer of 1969 and his own Sasquatch experiences back, golly, that was 54 years ago. I really like Ray's writing. I like the way that he writes. And I like the pictures as well. So these really fit into the way my own personal mind works. And then we come to the fun stuff. We have a word search. We have jokes. We have a review of a children's book by Ray Harwood. I'm going to have to get that. It looks really rather good. We have a list of Bigfoot museums, Bigfoot podcasts, and all sorts of other things that Steve, the editor, thinks this would be helpful or entertaining or useful for all of you. I am a great believer that we should be bringing people together. There are too many things these days in the world, particularly online, which tear people apart. And sadly, there are too many people within the greater cryptozoological community who are not working to bring people together, but who are just doing their own little bit of empire building and treating everybody who's not one of their particular cronies with disdain. Screw that. That is not the way that we should be behaving, and it is not the way we are going to be behaving. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my brief rundown of this magazine. There will be a link where you can contact Steve in the show notes. And until next Saturday, I suppose I'm going to be seeing you.